Hey guys, hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Wuque Studios Flux60 Hall Effect PCB. It's in this build. It was sent out to me, but it will not change my thoughts or opinions on this for review. So let me just show you the box real quick. It's this cool golden box. Inside is just like some screws on the PCB itself, which is on the board. Nothing crazy. The foams that will come with this PCB, you have cork plate foam, you have an IXPE switch foam under the core foam. You have a PET acoustic pad also under the other foam, and then you have case foam, which is going to be like slapped on the back of the PCB. In terms of the layout, this is a 60%, but it is a 60% with arrow keys. I've had a bunch of keyboards with this layout for the last couple of years. I do like it. I do like having arrow keys. It's not as clean as a regular 60% board, but it is more functional. It really just depends if you need to have the 1U shift right here or not. If you even use right shift, I don't use right shift, so it's not a problem for me. The thing is, this layout does bring a lot of keycap compatibility issues. As you can see, I'm using a 2U spacebar instead of a 2U shift because my GMK keycap set did not come with a 2U shift. The actual using a spacebar as a shift in game doesn't bother me. It just doesn't look good. So it's really up to you. There are definitely some cheap keycap sets that come with 2U shift, like this keycap set right here comes with a 2U shift. It was like 15 bucks on Amazon, and there are also some more expensive ones. You just have to be careful and make sure there's a 2U shift. The 1U shift you don't really need if the keycap set doesn't have it, because you can put any 1U key like a delete key there. You just have to remember, or you can rebind it. But enough with the layout. Let's get into the more into the PCB. So this does come with an aluminum switch plate. Aluminum is pretty good. It really just depends how well the case and these switches are. I think aluminum for this build is fine, though a lot of people will prefer something like carbon fiber, which is becoming more of the trend. The PCB itself is actually aluminum, which is really good for heat resistance, which means probably I would assume this PCB will have really good longevity because it won't ever die from heat, and it'll be really durable. This PCB does support 8K polling with a 256K scan rate. It does support rapid trigger down to 0.001. It does have a rated 0.08 ms latency, and it is water resistance, which is also great if you drink at your desk. So this PCB is really the great longevity option just because of the heat and water resistance. In terms of RGB, I'll just turn it on right here. It's not the greatest RGB, but it is pretty good. You can kind of see there's some LEDs under the spacebar. I think this is decent RGB. I don't think it's definitely the best, but it's fine. In terms of the stabilizers, they are clip-in stabilizers, which personally I do prefer because they're just easier to tune if you have to. I did have to put a little bit of lube on the spacebar, but it's not a big deal. They're fine. In terms of the included switches, they are Wuque's new Flux Ocean Whispers, and I wouldn't quite call them silent switches, but they are towards the more quieter side. They kind of feel a little like rubbery. They really remind me of like early Hall Effect KS37B switches. Like I don't have my Boog anymore, my Boog 75, but these switches really remind me of the switches that were in there. They just kind of feel like older switches, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. They feel really good in game, but actually typing on them just doesn't feel as good as some newer Hall Effect switches like the UFOs or some Gateron switches. In terms of the software, I'll show you a clip of it. So as before, you did have to register an account to use the software, but now you don't. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of this software. It's pretty clunky. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's usable and it's fine and you could get used to it, but I prefer something more clean and minimalistic. But obviously that's preference. In terms of performance in game, this PCB is super responsive. I had zero issues gaming. I had zero rapid trigger issues. This was one of the best performance-wise PCBs keyboards I've ever used. In terms of the case I used, for those who want to know, this is just a Tofu 60 Redux. It was available on Artisan Studios for about $65 shipped. As of right now, I don't think they have this color in stock, but they do have some other colors in stock. And if you just need a cheap case, this is great for $65. It's not going to be as good as some other cases, but you can also get a Zoom 64 case. I will have a review. This is the Met kit, but I will have a review on this in a week or so, if you want to know if this case is good. But in terms of price, the PCB with the plate stabs, the kit is $140, not including shipping. And then with the switches, it is $199. So the PCB itself at $140 is a little up there in price, but I do think it is fair because the PCB is aluminum and the wooting is also about $140. So I can completely recommend the PCB. But $200, which the switches, I don't really think it's worth it. It's like 95 cents a switch. I really don't think these switches are that good. It's definitely preference, but I think something like the UFO switches, Gateron Deltas, Labs TIs at a little cheaper are much better for the price. I think these switches are fine. If they were like $30-$40 with bundled, I think that would be fair, but I really just can't recommend these switches for almost $1 per switch. They really just, at least to me, feel like older switches that just have a closed bottom now. Like, they're completely fine. I was gaming fine with them. I was typing fine, but it's just not really recommendable for me at practically $1 per switch when there's so much better and more satisfying switches. But again, if you like how they sound, I'll have a sound test. You can still buy them. I don't think they're terrible. But that's pretty much it. For $140, the PCB is great. And let me let you off with a sound test.